Peg, so much for having me. My debut novel, Besotted, came out in March. It fits really perfectly with this theme because it is about a young woman looking back over a failed relationship and trying to reconcile for herself what happened and why her lover left. I'm not going to read from it today, though. I hope you buy it. It's over there for sale. I have been working on a collection of some new essays. So I'm going to read some essays that are very new, that I haven't read out loud before, but we're just going to give it a try. So there are 3 short essays. Origins 1. Let's not go into the shed behind the pink house. Let's not turn on the light. Single bulb mounted to the rafters. The last time I was in that shed, I couldn't reach the chain. The room stayed dark until 10-year-old Sam decided to make it light. Let's go instead to the light green house where we live next. I turned 5 in the light green house. For my birthday, I got a pastel purple boombox. It had a tape player and buttons I could push, a volume knob I could control. I must have been given a tape or 2 to play, but I can't remember them. Prior to the boombox, I had my Cyndi Lauper record that I loaded onto my parents' player. I knew how to set the needle down in the right place for time after time. I spun around the living room, reading lyrics from the liner notes, memorizing them. I've always been good at lyrics. I don't remember talking to a grown-up about what happened in the shed with Sam, before or after I got the purple boombox and whatever tapes I played on it. I remember instead a conversation about a conversation, a meta-narrative I can't pin down in time. The therapist said nothing happened to you, my mother told me. My whole life I've been a trust the experts type of person. I define an expert as anyone who isn't me. There was a shed somewhere behind the pink house. There was a single bulb overhead and a pull chain that I couldn't reach but Sam could. There was dirt on the floor. I was 3 years old. I can prove my age because birthdays I remember. After the shed, there was my 4th birthday. He came to my party. His mother, Rita, my mother's best friend, was a florist, so Sam gave me flowers. I was newly 4 and wearing a beautiful dress, and the only child I knew who could reach the light bulb chain handed me a bundle of long-stem red roses. I knew I had to take them. I wanted to ask if he'd remove the thorns, but in my memory of the scene, I took the roses without speaking. My fear of them is a visceral pull from my belly button to my spine, tugging me backward, a resonant frequency. At some later date, long after we'd left the pink house, but while we were still in the green one, we went back to Rita's for a visit. I don't know how old I was, but I was barely taller than a Doberman pinscher. I remember the smell of mulch and a floor littered with strands of hay. Rita was still a florist. The dogs were new, 2 Dobermans that patrolled the house, their searching noses just inches below my chin. Sam was gone. So was his sister Delilah. There were 2 totally different children there instead, 2 boys much younger than me. I couldn't figure out what was going on, was terrified of everyone and everything in the house because the one person I expected to be there and to be rightly terrifying wasn't. I understood nothing, but I remember an explanation I was given or gossip I overheard. Sam and Delilah had problems. They had to go live somewhere else. They weren't good kids. They stole a lot of candy bars. Everyone talked about the candy bars and how Sam had to go live somewhere else, and so I learned that stealing candy bars is a banishable offense, but putting your penis in my mouth is nothing. The 40-year-old version of me who knows more than the dog-high girl I used to be has other ideas. Sam and Delilah weren't banished for being delinquents who stole candy bars, I now assume. They were likely rescued from their own abuse. I could try to confirm this with my mother, but I fear the question like I feared the roses. I'm afraid she'll label the therapist, the dogs and the hay, the 2 new mysterious children, all a fiction I created. I'm afraid she'll tell me again nothing happened. Origins 2. My 6-year-old daughter has a Spotify playlist, a phone that's no longer really a phone but still holds music, and pink headphones with foam ear pads. She spins in the middle of the living room, singing along to whatever pop song she's fallen in love with most recently. I allow her to curse when the songs do, for accuracy. I let her listen to whatever she wants. She sings loudly along with songs only she can hear through the headphones. I steal videos of her, not to make her self-conscious, though that's what I do, but just to capture evidence of the volume she's capable of. For the day she needs proof, she's allowed to make noise. She remembers lyrics as well as I always have. She has no memory, though, of when her dad and I lived in the same house. She was 3.5 when we moved out. Because she was so young, we expected the divorce to be easier for her than it was for her brother, 21 months older. We were wrong. A year after Jamie moved out, the therapist we found offered an explanation for my daughter's struggles. She has no narrative to fall back on, no stories to tell of her life before divorce. I liked hearing this confirmation that we all need to tell and retell the stories of our lives. We all need to know where we began. We bring baby photos to therapy because the therapist asks us to, and we trust her expertise. We show our daughter the start of her story. Later, in the house she thinks of as mine, but I still think of as the house Jamie and I bought together, she sees the wedding album under my bed. She asks for it, and I give it to her. Though I don't like to look at the album, I remain neutral about the stories she sees conveyed in the photos. Yes, we kissed a lot, I agree. Yes, my dress was beautiful. Thorns. Other people since Sam have given me roses. On Valentine's Day, my junior year in high school, my brother filled out the order form to have a single red rose placed in my empty school mailbox. He didn't say as much, but I knew he didn't want my mailbox to be empty, didn't want me to have to stand and watch everyone else retrieving their flowers. On Valentine's Day, my senior year in college, my boyfriend had the freshman pledges in his fraternity deliver 12 roses to me, one at a time, every half hour. He'd told me in advance not to leave the house that day, and it didn't occur to me to object. The 12th rose he brought over himself. I don't remember what color any of them were. When Jamie and I bought our house and tore down a back sun porch that had been shoddily added on 6 years earlier, it took only 4 months for the dormant rose bushes to bloom. How long had they waited without giving up? After he moved out, I transplanted them into the front yard where they bloomed again, though not as vehemently. They are still settling. I know I should fertilize them. The woman Jamie had an affair with brought me roses from her garden once, before the affair, when she and I were friends. They were unruly, not suitable to be delivered one by frat boys or left in anyone's high school mailbox. Cream-colored with hints of pink and purple, their open blooms were the size of halved grapefruits. They were covered in thorns I didn't know to be afraid of.